Today we're going to be taking a look at the life of Abbye Stockton, a Silver Era pioneer of women's weightlifting and bodybuilding. Abbye was born in 1917 in California, and funnily enough, she was given the nickname Pudgy as a child. Even though she would end up becoming anything but pudgy, the nickname would stick with her for the rest of her life. In the 1930s, she worked as a telephone operator. However, she found herself easily gaining weight with her sedentary lifestyle. She would start exercising at home with a set of dumbbells to try to get in shape. It wasn't long before she would start to go to Santa Monica Beach on the weekends to train with other weightlifters. This outdoor gym on the beach would be known as Muscle Beach and would become world famous over the coming years. It was also the predecessor to Muscle Beach Venice, which is still open today just a couple miles down the road. Abbye would perform all sorts of flashy stunts on Muscle Beach, but perhaps most captivating was her hand balancing. You see, Abbye was not very big, only 5'2" or 157 centimeters and 115 pounds or 52 kilos. Yet she could hold her husband, who weighed over 180 pounds or 82 kilos above her head, while he did a handstand. We thankfully have a couple really cool photos of this. Here's another awesome photo of her holding a barbell in a floor press position with her husband balancing on top of it in a handstand. This was actually taken in Sigmund Klein's gym, a legendary figure from the Bronze Era who we will definitely be covering on this channel at some point. Abbye would begin to attract a lot of media attention. She would effectively become the poster child for female fitness in America in the 1940s. She was featured on the cover of dozens of magazines, and even started regularly writing her own column called Barbells in Strength and Health magazine, which was the most popular lifting magazine in the country at the time. Abbye's efforts would be instrumental in shifting the public perception of women getting fit, getting strong, and participating in sports. We have to remember that Abbye started doing her thing in a time when female weightlifting was almost unheard of in America. The closest thing you could see was maybe a strong woman performing in a circus or in a vaudeville show. However, similar to Ivy Russell in England, Abbye Stockton would help organize the first sanctioned female weightlifting competition in America in 1947. By the way, if you haven't seen my video on Ivy Russell yet, definitely go check it out. I'll link it in the description. Ivy has been almost completely forgotten, yet her contributions to female strength sports are just as noteworthy as the ones we're covering in this video. She was doing this in England several years before Abbye's popularity in America. But anyway, back to Abbye. As I said, she organized the first sanctioned female weightlifting competition in the country. Here she would press 100 pounds, snatch 105 pounds, and clean and jerk 135 pounds. The numbers are nothing crazy for today's competitive standards, but again, we have to remember the context. She was literally among the first women who ever touched a barbell. And to be honest, if she were to walk into a random commercial gym today, there's still a good chance she would be the strongest woman in the room, especially once you consider how small she was. I would be interested to know if any of the women watching this video can strict press 100 pounds. Let me know in the comments. Abbye and her husband would also befriend several of the greatest Silver Era bodybuilders. Here's a fantastic photo of Abbye, her husband Les, George Eiferman, and Steve Reeves. In this photo, Abbye is posing with the legendary John Grimek. And Abbye also did a whole photo shoot with my favorite bodybuilder, Steve Reeves. I really love these photos, and it's such a privilege to get to see these two posing together. Well, if female weightlifting was rare, female bodybuilding was non-existent at this point. There were no competitions to enter, however, the publisher of Physical Culture magazine, a guy called Bernard McFadden, would award Abbye with a title called Miss Physical Culture Venus in 1948. I suppose there's a case for calling Abbye the first ever female bodybuilder. Or at least it's very clear that she was a major influence for the birth of female bodybuilding. Abbye and her husband Les would go on to open several gyms around the Los Angeles area, which they ran until they retired in the 1980s. That about covers the highlights of Abbye's life, but before I end the video, I would like to go off on a tangent about modern enhanced female bodybuilding. I got quite a bit of criticism recently for calling old school lifters like Abbye feminine, but I think these people have really misunderstood what I mean by the word feminine in this context. If you've spent any time watching this channel, you'll know I'm a big believer in natural bodybuilding. And I have made many videos highlighting the dangers of steroids. These drugs are extremely dangerous for men, but are just as bad, if not maybe even worse for women. When I say that Abbye Stockton is feminine, I'm not referring to some arbitrary beauty standard like an hourglass shape or a big butt. I'm referring to the fact that she developed her physique in a natural way, which celebrates the feminine characteristics she has as a woman. I'm not trying to put women in a box or to claim they should look a certain way. In fact, I'm doing quite the opposite of that. While society at the time demanded women be soft and weak, Abbye and others showed that women could in fact be hard and strong, yet still be beautiful and yes, feminine. You see, there is a certain charm and uniqueness to natural female bodybuilding. That's because a woman's muscles will usually not develop in the same way or with the same proportions that a man's muscles would. However, when steroids are introduced, a woman's body quite literally is transformed into a man's body. And the charm and originality there was in female bodybuilding is completely lost, as the physique is no longer a feminine physique. It literally becomes a masculine physique because of the drugs. And by the way, it doesn't just stop at the physique. The drugs also change a woman's facial features and voice. I mean, it's no surprise when you consider that these are the same drugs a transgender person would use to transition their body from female to male. Except the transgender person would do it with the help and supervision of a doctor. Whereas these enhanced female bodybuilders are often taking much higher doses with several more compounds stacked on top. The problem is that these enhanced, massive, masculine women are the face of modern female bodybuilding. Just like Sebum, Big Ramy, and all the other juiced up guys are the face of modern men's bodybuilding. Seriously, go ahead and put female bodybuilder in Google Images right now to see what comes up. That's why I make videos like this, just like I make videos about Steve Reeves or George Hackenschmidt. I want to show women that you don't have to be afraid of lifting weights. It's not going to make you manly. But it's not surprising that this stupid stereotype still exists when the top female bodybuilders literally do look like men. A woman who lifts weights naturally will always look like a woman. And a strong and muscular woman who is not compromising her health with dangerous drugs is in fact something very beautiful which we should celebrate. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.